So today we will continue with our day 3. So previously what we have seen is different roles. Agile is all about 12 things that we have seen. It's manifesto, 4 manifesto and 12 principles, combined the 16 things. And then we have seen in a Scrum, there are different roles. So one of the role was Scrum team or a dev team, or a developer, we used to say the name. And the second role was of Scrum Master. So we'll continue on the Scrum Master. If we see Scrum Master role wise, which we saw earlier, that they are true leader. They are not primarily manager, and they focus mainly on the people development. So, and as I mentioned yesterday, the main difference between leader and manager is manager wants the deliverables to be done within the timeline. So, and then if manager who adopts some leadership style, some situational leadership style or thought leadership styles, so they can become good manager. Who's a person who is a combination or in between manager and leader, we can say, okay, that specific person is successful in the career and industry. So, coming back again to the Scrum role for Scrum Master, so they are process owner. So they will drive the process. They will educate the team members about the entire Scrum framework, methodologies, idea, mindset, principle, manifesto, and all. And they are basically for serving the dev team. When I say serving the dev team, you will be seeing they are a kind of a service leader. So they will teach the Scrum values and will ensure that every dev team members are understanding it and why we are doing what we are doing, and in order to adhere with the Scrum theory, processes, best practices, rules, methodologies. So all those things is what Scrum Master is going to take care, and it is going to protect them from the external disturbances. So suppose, as we know, there is no role of project manager or senior manager in the Scrum. Now in within organization, for hike appraisal and for salary things, for annual appraisal, you are reporting to some manager. And if that manager tries to come in between, or any senior manager or anybody for that sake, directly customer or something, so they have to pass Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is going to shield the dev team from all the external influences, mainly the disturbances, not the influence, I would say, uh, the disturbance. So any noise which is generated, Scrum Master will try to resolve it. So apart from that, he is going to facilitate all the Scrum events. In detail, we will be seeing how many Scrum events and ceremonies we are having. He is going to coach the team, remove the impediments, and when you are working in a team, you will be having a conflicts among team members, conflict with the stakeholders, because when we are discussing, we are doing review, designing, there can be multiple approaches of doing same thing. So whenever a situation of conflict comes, so Scrum Master is the person who is going to resolve those conflicts by facilitating the meetings and all those things. So we'll move forward. So we know the core values of Scrum, out of which the 3 values. So if you remember the 5 core values of the Scrum: transparency, inspection, and adaptation. That is something which Scrum Master will keep. So we say Scrum Master as the keeper of these 3 values mainly, and other 2 values, of course. So When we say transparent, transparent means everything is open, everything is visible to everyone. Okay, like a transparent glass. So the Scrum Master is going to ensure, and he is going to make process visible to everyone and in all the circumstances. When we say inspection, again, why inspection and adaptation is required after completion of a sprint. When you will be having a sprint retro, that time we will inspect, hey, what went well. Whatever went well, we will continue in the next sprint. What didn't went well, uh, then maybe something we need to have a discussion, and then from that we have to decide how we can improvise in the next sprint. So inspection is in the retro, it will happen, and on daily activities also, on the scrum calls also the scrum master can do. And adaptation is like when we say, okay, areas of improvement or action items which we are going to take care in the next sprint. So it's like Kaizen. It's continuous growth and increment. So when it comes to inspection, frequently we are going to inspect all the artifacts and the progress towards the goal. When we say goal here, our bigger goal, we break down it into the sprint goal. So for every sprint, before starting a sprint, you will be having some sprint goal in the words you are going to define. And apart from that, okay, we'll be taking some target as the number of user stories which needs to be completed in that sprint. So those things are our goal based on the story points. And then accordingly, we are going to do the inspection, and we'll do some adjustment wherever it is possible and move forward. So I have already covered many things. Don't get confused with engineering slash QA leader. So everything is a Scrum theme only. Now, when we say a full stack developer, or we say that we want someone who is a Superman, which means that one single team member is doing requirement gathering, is doing analysis, that one guy himself is doing designing and then doing a build, that is the coding, the testing, the QA work, the deployment as DevOps. So culture of the Scrum is to have a cross-functional team plus more and more things from a quality and capability perspective if individual can develop in himself or herself. So that's why when we say engineering or QA, that is the aspects within the team only. It's not two separate team. And we can see like if the boss is there, he will command to do the things. If leader is there, in the figure you can see leader is standing in the front line and he is leading. Okay, there is a load which has to be shared. Okay, I will also support and move forward with you, whereas the boss will sit on the top of the chariot. So if there is any obstacles or any impediment, the Scrum Master is going to clear all those obstacles, and he's going to address team dynamics and going to establish effective environment. So good team spirit and the culture for sportsmanship and the team spirits and everything, he will be facilitating in developing all those environment and culture within the team and across the organization. So Scrum Master is going to, so all these are parts of his responsibility. Like he is going to ensure strong collaboration between team and the product owner. So team here directly interacts with the product owner. And when we say product owner, which means team directly interacts with the customer. We consider product owner as our customer only, as our end customer representative of that. And if there is some gap, okay, the requirements are not clear, you started working on some epic or story, but still you think, okay, there is some clarification which is needed. Sometimes what happens when the team is not co-located in the, and the experience which I have seen in the past few organization is, if the dev team is say suppose working in India, and this and the product is product owner is in the US because the client is suppose in the US. Now during daytime, when a developer is having some query where he is going to look after, and in case he puts something over Jira, and somehow if the product owner misses to update on one day, so it is going to take 12 hours plus next 24 hours, so 36 hours lag will be there just because of one or two line of clarification or doubt which dev team wants to clarify and then move forward. So what Scrum Master is going to do, if there is anything like that, he is going to facilitate. And if product owner wants to reach to the dev team members and is not able to reach, or if there is anything, so that seamless communication between both the parties, where we can say a product owner is a single member, single person, not a group or any organization like that. But if still there is a gap, then the Scrum Master is going to bridge in that gap. And again, as we shared earlier, that he is going to protect team from both the outside interruptions and the distraction, because many a times, for example, the main work of Scrum team is to do active development, and if it is in case if it is in the Kanban model or something, support. And if there is a existing support and the customer services team available, then if the dev team member has been pulled on those calls and it is eating the time and all, then the Scrum Master will come and then he will shield the dev team from that. Okay, and then he's going to show the team how to gain the most value of out of Scrum, because Scrum is something, okay, we are following, but unless and until we are not going to reap it, the values, how we are going to use the process, and that can be benefit for us, not an obstacle to overcome. So he will try to reduce the process overhead and see whatever is essential, those things only will do with the 5 core values of the Scrum which we are having. And the Scrum Master is going to teach team to self-organize, because ultimate aim for the success of Scrum team is when they become self-organizing, when they own responsibility on their own shoulder, so that they can grow for the next generation of the leaders. The team entirely can become more mature Scrum team. So Scrum Master is going to help in that as well. Along with that, he will set up tracking and reporting to enable inspection and adoption. So this tracking and reporting, very important. He is not a project manager to track or report. But since if we are not going to track, suppose if the missile is launched, guided missiles, but the missiles is not tracked, so how the inspection is going to happen? And if the reporting will be there, so inspection and adaptation will go hand in hand with the tracking and reporting. So just for adapting faster to the change, adhering for that, a Scrum Master is going to do tracking and reporting. But it's not like he is going to take a report of yours, something like that. Okay. Please stop me wherever you feel that, okay, we are going with speed, or there is any doubts which needs to be clarified. Okay, now moving to one very important role for a Scrum Master is he is services to the PO. As we have seen in the previous slide, that he is services to the dev team. In the similar fashion, he is services to the PO, means product owner, which means he teaches Scrum values and ensure that the product owner understands, because product owner is also one of the key player in a team. And if product owner don't understand and just act like and client or customer, then the entire goal of implementing Agile or Scrum is not going to achieve. That's why it's very important for product owner also to understand these principles and values, and the Scrum Master is going to teach and coach product owner as well, so that they understand and adhere to the Scrum theory, practices, rules, methodologies, mindset. The Scrum Master is going to help PO so that they can understand how they can create and maintain product backlog efficiently. So product backlog and the ownership of product backlog is the sole responsibility of a product owner. But the Scrum Master is going to facilitate into that also, how he can help in that. Also, Scrum Master is going to help product owner to understand how to prioritize PBI to maximize value. So we'll be seeing what is product backlog refinement and those things in the subsequent slide. But we are very sure that a good product backlog is a backlog where all the items are prioritized, which means if there is 150 items or stories epics on the product backlog, so they should be on the priority. The least priority one should go on in the bottom. So he's going to help in that. So what we have seen is he's serving to the dev team, he is serving to the product owner. Along with that, Scrum Master is serving, or he's having services to the organization in which they are working. So working with other Scrum Master to increase the effectiveness of the Scrum in organization, which means when you are a Scrum Master, you are having a good exposure of, of 2-3 years or something like that. Obviously there are many teams, many products who are going to adapt Scrum methodology, and you will be having a budding Scrum Master. So they are going to help throughout the organization to help them and to coach them and to motivate them. So ultimately it's coaching organization on Scrum. So whatever best principle practices is throughout the organization, they are going to promote. Be a change agent. So this change agent is very crucial word, because the most resistant or resistful word is a change. We don't want to change. Nobody wants to change. That is a moment of inertia in physics, we say. The way something is going on, we don't want to disturb the momentum and we want to let it go. And the change is sometimes painful. If change is for a betterment also, it's painful. Okay, someone who is very fat and no, he wants to go for a morning walk or jogging, but he don't want to change. Why? Because we want to be in the comfort zone. But yeah, the person knows if he is going to develop a morning routine and those habits, that is going to his health is only going to be benefited by that. But still, that change, no one wants to change. So Scrum Master will be a change agent for anything within a team, be it a process or no. He is going to create environment, culture, and the empirical process development, which we have seen in the previous slide, in our day one slide. If you remember, what was the empirical process development, where we used to adapt, inspect, and then grow. Moving to the next one. Very important thing is Scrum Master does not manage. There is a misconception which we think, okay, Scrum Master is there, so he is the main person who will manage the entire Scrum. No. He does not manage or drive the team. It is not a project manager, but instead he acts as a servant leader for the Scrum team, which means he will facilitate the Scrum team to grow, to become self-organizing, and to deliver whatever they have committed with the product owner. And that's why this you can see in the blog in many organizations, just to save overhead, what they do is sometimes they will appoint managers only to act as a Scrum Master, which means we are violating these things, because manager is something who is not part, no role in the Scrum. So in those cases, so you may ask the question, okay, Sagar, then can project manager or can manager not become a Scrum Master? So in case if any manager is becoming Scrum Master or they want to play a role of Scrum Master, so they need to wear a hat of Scrum Master and they need to remove the hat of manager or a project manager or a people manager, something like that. So that is how the manager serving as a Scrum Master must understand and accept the concept of self-organizing team. If the if the space and freedom is not given to the team member and the individual, they can never become self-organizing team. That is why we say keep managers outside the Scrum. Now I will pause here for a moment as we are going to another role, which is a product owner. Have any doubt or thoughts or anything from a role perspective of Scrum Master? No, all good. So we'll move forward. So product owner. So what we know, product owner is a person who is responsible for developing, for making, for grooming, for maintaining the live document, which is a product backlog. And that product backlog is our Bible for the entire product which needs to be developed or application or a software, whatever you say. So what are their roles and responsibility? Let's see in detail. First and the foremost thing is he is a person. He or she is a person, not a committee or a group. It's not like a board of directors or a companies which is coming and a group of people who starts on putting pressure or something like that. No, a product owner will be always individual, whereas the Scrum team or a dev team will be a group of 3 to 9. So we have seen the team size as 6 plus minus 3 in our day 2 session. So he's a person, and then the another important aspect is the product owner will be having a product vision, which means just imagine someone who is a architect in a civil engineering line, and he wants to build very big palace. So and for making that palace, it is going to take, say, suppose 3 years. Big palace with many floors, maybe 50-60 floors and so on. So when the project of that manufacturing or project of that building of that palace is going to happen, nobody knows, the workers, the supervisors, and all the helpers, they are not going to be aware how the end palace is going to look like. But the architect, he will be having crystal clear vision. He will be having his blueprints ready, and on the basis of that only, all the supervisors, the group of supervisors who are supervising the laborers and the workers, they are going to consult, and as per instruction of that architect, of that civil architect, they are going to build a palace. Yes, and every time they are going to review with him that, okay, we are going as per the plan, as per the blueprint, as per the design and the layout. Correct. In the similar fashion, the product owner will be having crystal clear visibility, clarity of the end product, what we are intending to make. If product owner is not having that vision, which means the entire thing can break. As a team, we are not going to become successful, because unless and until that visibility, that clarity is not going to come, he or she cannot work on the MVP, the most important thing, the prioritized thing. What are the things which needs to be delivered into current sprint, next sprint, and so on. Third point is he is responsible for the success of project. See here, earlier in traditional development cycle, who is responsible for the success of project? We'll say typically, hey, project manager, project manager. If project fails, it's because of project manager. So we'll say there is a never bad army. It's always bad commanders. But here no one is going to command. It's self-organizing team and army which we are having. So the responsibility is more on the product owner's shoulder in terms of how the quality is coming, because in the sprint demo we'll be seeing in detail the ceremonies and everything in the sprint, but in the sprint demo, in the sprint review, when a dev team member, they are demonstrating their deliverables, and if there is any quality issue, if there is any requirement which is not fulfilled, if there is any edge or corner cases which is not been done, then the product owner will say go, no go, which means he has to say no. Let's fix this and then move forward. That's why we say it's responsible. The responsibility is more on the product owner for the success of entire project. And he owns the product backlog and does the prioritization. So this point, the bullet point 4, is very important. Product backlog is always and always owned by the product owner, not by the scrum master or a dev team member. No, it's a baby, what we can say. And then again, the prioritization has to be done by product owner, but dev team or a scrum master, they are going to help and facilitate in the prioritization. And then he will ensure that product backlog is visible, transparent and clear to all. This point is also very important. When we say transparency, so always wherever the product backlog is being maintained and groomed, accessible to all the team members, and we'll be seeing in the product backlog how the stories or epics are going to be created in the coming slides. So the product owner is going to ensure that these things are being taken care, and then he will ensure that dev team understands the product backlog. Everything within a product backlog, PBI, when I say product backlog items, all the items in the product backlog, and available every day to answer dev team queries. Okay, this point is also very important. Why? So it's not like, okay, product owner comes at this at the time of sprint planning, decides, okay, how many stories we need to pick it and put it into the sprint backlog, and then finally coming on the last day of the sprint by saying, okay, go, no go, no go, no go. No, that's not how product owners do. So product owner will be available. So when we will be having a scrum meeting, daily stand up. So in the daily stand up also a product owner will be there. And whenever you are going to work as a developer, you will be having queries related with the functionality, features, the business use case and all. That's why their presence is important. Why? Because here our focus is more in the on the working software rather than no comprehensive documentation and all. So if the documentation is very good and everything is there, then product owner, or earlier they used to say, hey, you go and refer to those documentation or SharePoint or Confluence, something like that. But that's not the case with Scrum, correct? The case with Scrum is we'll be focusing more on the working software, which means the things won't be written very clearly in much detail on the places where we need it. So it's with the product owner. So he strives to maximize the value delivered by the dev team in every sprint. And how that value can be maximized? Only and only when we work on the most prioritized thing. That's why product backlog is prioritized, sprint backlog is prioritized. He has authority to cancel the sprint. So this point is very important. Dev team cannot say we want to cancel this sprint, or Scrum Master cannot say we want to cancel this sprint. But authority perspective, he is having that authorization that he can cancel the sprint. One example can be if something comes in between the sprint which has to deliver, which cannot wait, there is a hot fix, and we cannot pull in that into the current sprint because of any reason, that time product owner can say, hey, let's cancel this sprint, I'm going to start new one. He can say like that. And he accepts and rejects the dev team work. It's not QA, which means we don't have a specific QA role as such. Everyone is the dev team here, including the people who are working as functional QA or a automation QA kind of thing. But for us, the final gatekeeper for all the work delivered by the Scrum team is the product owner only. He represents business to dev team. As I used to say always, he represent client, he represent customer. So he represent business to dev team. So is it necessary that he has to be from organization in which the customer or client is? No, that's not always true. In some cases, you may have a Scrum Master from a client or a customer, but majority of times now we have seen the trend within within a developing organization, whoever is developing the product or services, they will be having their own product owner, and they can interact with the point of contact of the end customer or maybe the group of the people. Also, they represent Scrum team to the stakeholder. So this is very beautiful line. So you are so the product owner is a representative, is a customer's representative for a dev team, but for a customer, the product owner becomes a dev team's representative or a Scrum team's representative. Which means when a customer is going to talk with product owner, customer thinks, customer believes, customer assumes that he is directly talking with the dev team. He is directly talking with the Scrum team, which means whatever feedback customer or end user wants to give to the development team, they will give directly to the product owner, and then from product owner it is going to pass to us as a Scrum team. Okay, and he makes decision on when to release the product. So we don't have a separate release manager. In some organization you will be seeing, okay, you will have a separate release manager, sometimes managing multiple projects, and then they will ensure, okay, for the same product line. When I say product line, it's similar products portfolio. Within the same product line, you are having one release manager, and that release manager is coordinating with the either the managers or Scrum Masters and the product owner. In some organization you may see, but when we say everything is being autonomous by the self-organizing team, so all the release cycles has to be decided by the product owner only. He is the person who will say when whatever we have developed is going to go into the production. Your sprint length is 2, your sprint is of 2 weeks, but finally whatever is being shippable code which we have created, it has to be pushed in every sprint or after every 2 sprint or after 4 sprint or in between sprint or something like that. All those decisions will be left out to the product owner, and then he will participate in Scrum events as needed. So in few of the Scrum events, you will be seeing the product owner is not mandatory. We'll be seeing those Scrum events in detail when we'll be doing. But overall, I think from the slides, whatever we have discussed, the role of product owner is clear to us. So again, we'll be moving forward to some of the things as the revision. So we have seen he owns and prioritizes the backlog. He will be available to the team for quickly giving the resolution on all the queries which they are asking. Another thing is he is going to ensure that bugs or tickets or stories that contains enough information for the team, dev team, to able to assign story points. This point is very important. This is a new term, story point, or sometimes I am repeating, but we have not gone in depth how the story pointing or something has been done. But every story will be having some points known as story points. That is a weight of story. You may correlate with that. We cannot gauge the weight of any story if enough information is not provided. So who will ensure that all the informations are available on every tickets or bugs or stories or epic which dev team is going to work? It's product owner who will do, and he is going to follow something which is known as invest. Invest is the acronym we will be seeing in the subsequent slide, as much as possible. And the last point is acceptance criteria. Again, what is acceptance criteria in detail also we are going to see. But from a layman perspective, we see acceptance criteria is something without meeting that criteria, product owner is not going to accept your story. So he will add acceptance criteria so that team understands what is necessary to consider this specific story or work to be qualified as done by both the engineering and the QA, which means by the Scrum team. So in this slide, there are two important things which we are saying is uh, as much information means enough information, not information overload over a ticket, but enough information, whatever is needed, must, necessary, those things will be updated by the product owner by following something which is known as invest. And then acceptance criteria is also something which will be there on every stories or a ticket. Now we are moving to the product backlog. So in the first slide, in our day one, we have seen the backlog, and many times I am saying product backlog. So what is this product backlog? Let's understand. First thing is it is ordered and emergent list. When I say ordered, which means it is prioritized and it is in the order. When we say emergent, which means it's ever evolving, ever developing. It's not like that I'm having 250 stories in my product backlog and it is freeze. No. If we have just 20 or 25 items also in our product backlog, we can start the project, we can start the sprinting, we can start the sprint, and the product owner will be in continuous touch with the customer. As and when the more and more requirement used to come, he will be doing product backlog refinement, and he will keeps on adding new stories and tasks into that. That's why we say product backlog is a live document. Okay, it will be always live document, and then you will be having different level of details on top of small task. Very clear thing is what product backlog will be having, and we have seen this point already that complete authority on the product backlog will be with the product owner only. So one product backlog for one product, that is how the product backlog is. You may have multiple teams also, as I have given you example earlier. We may have no scrum on scrum also when the team size is big, but product backlog will be one. It is not like, okay, we are having two teams and the product is same, and now for the two teams we are having two different product backlog. No, product backlog is going to be same. Sometimes we'll be seeing over Jira, like majority of the IT industries are using Jira for project management, agile, and bug tracking and all those things. So you'll be having one single board for three different teams, and you can label the different team names. So you'll be having a consolidated Scrum board. Or a sprint board also we used to say. So we'll be seeing what is scrum board, sprint board, or a scrum wall and all those terms. Okay, I'm taking a pause of 10 seconds. If you have any queries till this point. No?
Not on
Now,
my side.
sure. Thank you, Alfredo.
Thank you, sir.
So now we are moving to very important slide, that is product backlog refinement. Now how this entire process of product backlog refinement is, so you will be seeing product owner is in continuous touch with the customers and the clients, and then if any stakeholder, if they have some idea in their mind, if this feature can be added, if it looks like that, this and that, and then sometimes they will be seeing their competitors also, I have seen this feature in that particular application, can we have something like that? So you'll be having so many ideas from a stakeholders, from a competitors and all. So on that ideas, based on those ideas of the stakeholders, and then product owner will do the comparatively analysis for the competitors to gain a competitive advantage and a product differentiation in the market and his product also. But if we see this flow chart, how the things are moving, so stakeholder will be having idea, and then when it comes in the second box rectangle, you can see he's going to talk to the stakeholder to find out what they want and why they want it. This 2 point is very important. What they want and why they want. What they want is clear, but why they want is not clear, then also there is a problem. They just like it and they want, but it is not useful to the end customer and user, then we need to rethink. So here you can see the decision box coming out, which is saying, is the why clear? Is the why clear? If it is yes, then we will think, okay, is what clear? So why? So everywhere we used to say the why has to be clear, then only we will move to the how part. Unless and until why I am doing what I am doing is not clear, how to do it doesn't make sense. So if why is not clear, again we'll go back to the stakeholder. Again, we are going to communicate with them. Again, we will be having a discussion. We means the product owner is going to have a discussion. If why is clear, then he is going to move to what. If the what is clear, then he will move further. If what is not clear, then again he will move back to the stakeholders. That what exactly you want. Now I know why you want, but what you want exactly, that is how the requirement gathering product owner is going to do. And again, this requirement gathering is not only at the starting of the project, but it's throughout the project. Then you can see the third decision box. He contributes to the product vision, which means at the starting of the project itself, product owner will be having some vision for the product. Now there is new input, new idea which came, and we say, okay, we are flexible enough, adaptive enough for the change and accepting the change even at the last moment also. So in that case, if those ideas are accepted, our why is clear, our what is clear, then we'll see whether we can contribute it to the product vision, which if it is aligning to my product vision, it is enhancing, magnifying, and adding values to the end product vision which we had earlier, and we are not at all deviating from there, then we'll take it forward, or else we are going to throw it away. We are not going to waste our time in that. Okay, why? Because you want to create a financial software for finance, and the idea came if the HR also can be managed, if the human resource can be managed with that. So we are deviating in this case. So the all business scenarios which we are having in the product backlog is all related with the finance, the transactions, this and that, accounting, and here we are talking about management of the resources, material, and MRP, and the ERP. So we will discard that idea. Now, if the idea is accepted, and we have seen it is going to contribute value to the vision, then one more check is there. Is this particular feature, is this particular idea is going to add some value into my product or not? If value is not going to be added, again we will remove it. So value addition is the focus. And once it is very sure, so we can see there are 4 diamond box. Those 4 diamond box are 4 decision box. So one filter, second filter, third filter, and fourth filter. So in the fourth filter, we are saying if value is added, then only product owner is going to write that thing into the product backlog. He will write into the PB. He will write a PBI. That PBI we were seeing in the previous slide, that was product backlog item. This item can be story or epic, or the story can be broken down into the task. But PBI things will come when this 4 check boxes, this 4 decision box are done. And finally, after then, the product backlog refinement meeting starts. So this is the entire flow chart, and this flow chart is very important from a product perspective. And in case we are following Scrum and the product owner is not following this, as a Scrum team member or as a Scrum Master, we can go and we can ask to improvise on this particular thing. Any doubt on this flow chart? No? So we'll say before product backlog refinement meeting, this process has to be followed. So this is the last slide which we are going to take it today, as we are about to we are covering almost 1 hour of the session. In the product backlog refinement, our main purpose is to assign story point to the bugs. We'll say here bugs, so don't get confused by bugs. For a new development, there you won't be having any bug. Bug will be there once there will be some regression or something goes into the pre-prod environment or production environment. Bug here correlated with the story or the epic. So our main purpose is to assign story points to those stories that team will work on. So the product owner facilitate this meeting. You will be seeing majority of the meetings Scrum Master is going to facilitate, but product refinement is something which product owner will facilitate. Why? Because who is going to maintain product backlog? Whose baby is product backlog? Who is having the ultimate authority of product backlog? It's product owner. That's why, and without doing product backlog refinement, he cannot enrich that, he cannot prioritize that, he cannot make it those clear and clear and transparent to the team member. That's why the product owner is going to facilitate this meeting, where we'll be having a backlog refinement. In the backlog refinement, we'll say it as a backlog grooming, and then we'll decide, okay, these stories which we are targeting for next sprint. So it's not like that today I have to start sprint, and in the sprint planning I am doing backlog refinement. No. If we do like that, our 1 hour, 2 hour will go only in the backlog refinement, only doing the story pointing, and we won't be having that much time to do the sprint planning and start. Which means before sprint starting only, you will be having this backlog refinement. Before sprint planning, you will be having all the stories, whatever we are targeting, to be updated with the story points. And all team members should be invited. All voices are relevant. Sometimes, again, I can break it down into 2 things. One is a discovery session and a grooming session. In the discovery session, when the epic level discussion is going to happen, that time product owner may call just a senior team members or 1 or 2 particular team representative, so that they don't want to invest time of the other team members, and they can continue into the development work. So that is how it happens. But when the grooming is happening, all the team members are invited, and we should present there. They are going to use planning poker cards or any application like we were using Slack in my previous organization. In the Slack itself, you can do the planning poker, or you will be having actual poker cards. So when I was in Accenture, that time we were having a poker cards in our hand. So it's a very beautiful process that I will explain you later. But we'll be using planning poker or any particular tool so that we can get into unbiased voting for the sizing of ticket, which means uh, it's not like okay, one story is there and one senior member say, hey, the story point should be 5, done, no discussion. That's not how the things happens. We have to take consensus of everyone, including the junior most team member, the team member who is new, who is maybe the intern or trainee, with that person to the senior most who is the architect having 10-15 experience into the organization or the team. So I will stop here. We will continue on this slide tomorrow, and uh, giving last 2-3 minutes to all of you if you are having any query to ask.
I do have a question, sir.
Sure, Alex.
Yeah, let's say regarding our team, who will be our product owner? It will be RP or CP?
Okay, so in this specific case, if we talk about our project in our
Yeah.
organization, so it's CP. So
Okay.
CP is the person who will be the product owner, and then you and Prashant, who is helping her as a business analyst or architect, you are also a representative of a product owner for our on-site team. So the entire team is kind of like that. But say suppose if you decide, no, I want to be in the development and I want to be a part of a Scrum team also, then you can be accommodated as a Scrum team member. But for CP, it is very sure that she is a product owner.
Oh, okay.
Aarti,
Should be like a product
Aarti
manager or
is
something?
not, if Aarti is not Scrum Master, then she is not having role in the Scrum team. If she is typical project manager or a director or a senior manager in that sense, senior project director or something like that. Okay, it's the entire team who is self-organizing. And say suppose Aarti wears that hat where she is giving all the input, she is directly interacting with the customer along with CP. So yeah, she can also be, but in one sprint there you will be having just one product owner. So in one sprint, if CP is the product owner, Aarti cannot be product owner. And say suppose if Aarti is becoming product owner, then she will wear off that director hat, that she is engineering director or senior director, like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Okay. So just quickly, I will recap what we have seen today. So we have seen in detail the role of Scrum Master, that he's a true leader, he's a service to the dev team member, he's a keeper of the Scrum values like transparency, inspection, and adoption. And this slide got repeated, I will delete it. And then he's responsible for many things like clearing the obstacles, addressing the team dynamics, and ensuring the collaboration between the team and the product owner. He's shielding the team from the outside interruptions, noises, and the distraction. And he's showing, he's culturing, he's mentoring the team to follow the agile principles, process, and all those things. And then finally, he himself can do some tracking and reporting just to enable inspection and adaptation, not for project controlling and monitoring, which project managers typically do. And this diagram is also very important, where leader is a leader, not a boss, and that's why he is a frontline. He is kind of a playing captain, not outside coach who is just sitting outside and instructing. So along with the services to dev, he services to the product owner, and he is services to the he's having services to the organization. So we'll be having different services to product owner, organization, and then finally this slide is very important, where we are saying he is not a manager, he is not driving team, because team is self-driving, team is self-motivating, team is self-organizing, but instead is acting as a servant leader for the Scrum team. And then we have seen the role of product owner in detail, that the product owner will be a single person. And then usually we have seen the Scrum Masters can change. Scrum Master can shuffle also. Dev team member can also in another sprint can become Scrum Master, or sometimes the project manager wants to wear that hat and they can come. But product owner, because he will be having all the visibility vision of the product for 1 year, 2 year, they will be same person. And say suppose in some cases if the product owners leaves the organization, then some other guy who is going to be backfilling or replacement of the previous product owner, after proper handover, that new guy can become a product owner. But generally product owner will be someone who will be having very sound know-how of the domain on which the product is being built, at least the domain and the functional expertise they will be having. So all these things we have seen today. So tomorrow we'll be seeing how the story pointing is done, how we are going to use this in Invest, and how we are going to add acceptance criteria. We have seen the product backlog, like it is ordered one, live document, and final authority with the product owner. This entire process we have gone in detail, that if there is any idea, then it does not like that we will just accept the idea, the product owner, no, he will see why that idea has to be accepted, what they want exactly, and is it going to be the value addition to the vision or not, and some value is coming, then only is in that particular idea is going to come as a PBI into the product backlog. Okay, thank you everyone. Then we'll meet tomorrow in our day 4.
Thank you, Sagar.
Thank you, Sagar.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.